what is, because so many people will say, oh, look at all her victims. And I'm like, okay, what victims? Like, give me that list.
Unfortunately for Trisha Paytas, I have time today to make her a list. Welcome back to another one of my rants. We have a lot to get into. Now, before I remind Trisha of how she victimized her previous boyfriends, I want to make a point. Trisha is under the impression that although she's done some controversial things in her past, she should not be confronted with those things in present day. According to Trisha, any issues you have with her, she's already apologized for in a video.
I can either talk to them, or like point them towards an apology video of me, because I'm guarantee whatever issue you've had is like an apology video.
So I guess if you haven't dug through her thousands of videos to watch 40 minutes of her rambling with a sorry somewhere in there, well, that's on you. I admit, I wasn't too concerned with Trisha's history of trolling on YouTube when I first learned about it in 2021, not after I learned the other things she's been up to. Because you see, Trisha using racism, anti-Semitism, bigotry, etc. in her comedy is protected under the First Amendment and is not punishable by the government. So let's focus on the things Trisha has done that is. One thing that Trisha doesn't seem to understand is that a criminal offense against one's partner is not a private matter. It's a crime not only against that individual, but also our society at large. To harm one's intimate partner undermines the values needed to uphold a healthy, functioning community. Abuse of any kind allowed to fester gives way to a culture of fear and intimidation. And it also gives people the belief that the use of violence is an acceptable way to control others. Today, the state of California, and all of us here on YouTube, is ready to put Trisha Paytas on blast. Ignorance is not an excuse for breaking the law. Now, everything I'm about to present are all things Trisha has admitted to, so if anyone has a problem with this video, take it up with her. Even so, I will use the words allegedly as needed when discussing her multiple incidences. I'm going to streamline this list so that it can be as concise as possible. What we're about to do now is show that Trisha has a clear pattern of behavior. When her boyfriends want to leave her, she refuses to let them leave. In 2016, while dating her boyfriend Sean, on July 4th, instead of celebrating Independence Day, this is what Trisha tweeted. I physically restrained Sean from leaving and calling me names. Never once did he retaliate back. I bleeped up. Yet people blame him. Okay, now fast forward a couple of years to when Trisha dated Jason Nash in 2019. Let's take a look.
Jason almost called 911 on me last night.
There it is! Why? What were you doing?
Nothing, like literally.
Shut up.
I was blocking the door.
For an hour and a half.
I sat there. He went into that bedroom and I just sat there.
And let's finish this all up highlighting an incident when Trisha started dating Moses.
We were like upstairs and I took his phone. I saw like other DMs to girls. He like not tackle me, but like we went to the floor, and so then I like punched back, but I never punched him. I wasn't like, hey, you piece of shit. Like I wasn't like that.
You guys had a tussle?
He had bruises, so of course he's like, oh my god, like look. And I was just like, I didn't do it like on purpose. I wasn't like that. You know what I mean? It was a tussle.
You guys were fighting over his phone? Oh my god.
Well, then I took his keys, and so he was trying to get the keys back. How long did we fight for the keys? Like 12 hours? Yeah. Off and on. Basically 12 hours of fighting. But I had him, like I was putting all my weight on it on the bed, like to like not let him get it. Cause I'm like, okay, all my weight's on it. He's not gonna be able to get the keys. And literally we just.
According to keglawyers.com and the state of California, false imprisonment is a crime when you detain, restrain, or confine someone without their consent and not allow them to leave when they want. Penal Code 236. False imprisonment is the unlawful violation of the personal liberty of another person. In order to violate someone's personal liberty, there must be a sustained restriction of their freedom by use of violence.
We went to the floor, and so then I punched back, but I never punched.
Distress.
She sat here like a prison guard, and I was like, Trisha, get out of the way. I'm going home. I want to go home. I need some time to myself. She's like, no, you're
Holy shit.
not. I was
Is
like,
this true?
Fraud, deceit, or a threat of unlawful injury that victim reasonably believes.
you're not leaving. I go, I'm calling 911. She goes,
Good. Do it.
then I thought you had priors, so I wasn't going to do that to you.
Oh my God.
How long were you there for?
An hour.
And then I went to sleep for like 45 minutes, and I was like, okay, she'll probably went to sleep. And I came back, and she was just still sitting by the door.
Example. A common example of false imprisonment occurs during domestic violence incidents. For instance, during a boyfriend-girlfriend argument, the man grabs and holds her arms when she makes an attempt to leave the home. Since she's being detained and confined, even for a short time, the boyfriend could be charged with Penal Code 236, false imprisonment. Now, this can either be a misdemeanor or a felony. This could include the use of physical barriers such as furniture to prevent them from leaving. Or in this example, her actual body.
Trisha, you sat in front of the door so your boyfriend couldn't leave?
That's true love.
No, I just sat in front of my own door, and I don't think there was anything wrong with that.
Now, if someone is convicted of false imprisonment, if it's a misdemeanor, it carries up to 1 year in county jail, as well as a fine of up to $1,000. Now, if it's a felony false imprisonment, you can get 16 months, 2 or 3 years in county jail, and a fine up to $10,000. Now, I also want to make it clear that even in these situations provided, Trisha, for example, could have had good reason to restrain her ex-partners or current partner. So again, she can prove that her partners wanted to be where they were. It was voluntary. They stayed with her. If she did her actions in good faith, as in she believed that they could have harmed themselves or others, they could have lied and said she did it and she didn't, except that in these cases, she's saying she did do what they accused her of. And another valid reason for restraining another person is self-defense. Now, Trisha at any time can come up with a story saying that she restrained these other men and prevented them from leaving because they were trying to harm her. To make it clear, Trisha can still come up with a defense on why she did what she did. And even if police were called and charges were laid, doesn't necessarily mean she would have been found guilty. Trisha's saving grace is that neither Sean, Jason, nor Moses reported her conduct to the police. If only all people who were found guilty of false imprisonment had the same opportunity of not being charged. Not. Instead, what we see using Trisha for an example is if someone commits such an offense one time, they are inclined to do it again and again. Who knows if she's still doing it now? Trisha had 3 offenses, and if she had been reported, charged, convicted for each one, she would already had 3 strikes. However, if you go by criminal record alone, Trisha Paytas is seen as a productive member of society. Listen to me, y'all. Trisha is a menace to society. She's like if Dennis the Menace became an adult. Trolling on the internet on its own is not enough for me to give Trisha any attention. However, the willingness of her to allegedly abuse her partners is not only their problem, Trisha. You made it our problem as well. If anyone is looking for more information on domestic abuse help, please check my description box below.